All right. Hey, Kelly Sue. All right, here is the video that I promised you. All right, I'm going to use only 3 different colors. I'm going to use an iridescent white, and then I'm going to use a titanium white, and then I'm using a Mars black. So this is what we're hoping to achieve. So we're going to do a braid, and it's going to hopefully match the Santa. So I've done this one, and we're going to demonstrate what this one looks like. So usually you will find you can lighten it up. This is kind of dark, so but you can lighten it up with a little more white if you want to do that. So there's no wrong reason or wrong way of doing it from my perspective. So I usually like to start just the base coat with whatever the lightest color is. So for here we're using white, but if you were going to do like a blonde braid or red, you'd want to use whatever your lightest color is. That's my preference. And so that way I like to go sometimes light to dark, sometimes, and it's kind of hard to lighten up a dark color without too many coats. So it's easier to work with wet paint. So start with that as your basis. So when it starts to dry out, that's when it starts to get a little more difficult. All right, so I have a round brush or a medium round brush that apparently is falling apart. So I've got a medium round brush with a really nice tip that's easy and it makes a nice fluid kind of stroke. And then I have a super thin brush, which is a very fine tip. And so that'll let me, it'll force me not to put too much of the dark color on there. So that way I'm not overwhelming the braid. So, and all I'm doing is...
recording.
All I'm doing, yeah, that's Mars right there, so yes. Say hi to Mars, is just outlining the lines that are already predefined in the braid. And so I'm just basically putting, because that's where your shadows are going to be anyway. And if you've painted over them like I did, they're a little harder to see, but that's okay. And so this is going to come down through here. Okay. So the idea is your shadows are going to be at your points. And there you go. All right, your shadows are going to be here at your points of where the hair feeds in together. Okay, so that is the second step. It's just basically putting that color in there. And then I'm going to add the white. And the idea is just to blend those together. The cleaner the white. So when it starts to get too black, I just wipe it down. Sometimes cleaning it out, or, and you know, you don't have to stay in the lines. So this is the beauty, is nobody says you have to paint in the lines, because I struggle with that. Okay, so you're gonna do, now I've overpainted the bow, so I'm gonna go back and just update that later. There's no, okay, so now I've got what looks to be a little blotchy. So I'm gonna just clean out my big brush, my big round brush here, or my medium round brush. And then I'm just going to make sure that I have clean white. And then I'm just going to add some additional into this. And so that way I'm pulling up the black gently to the top. But it's mostly white. There we go. Okay, so with a little more white on there, because I want to make sure it's more white than it is black, and I'm just basically blending those colors together. And if it gets too dark, just throw some more white on there, and just keep blending it. You know, as you can see, my workspace, it's awful messy. I'm forever wiping off the brush and starting over again. Wiping it off, starting over. And there we go. And then I'm just blending them together. There we go. Oop, got a little black there. So I may want to tone that one down in a minute. Okay. So I've got a lot more, so it's not very similar. So what I'm going to do is I can either change this one a bit. I might add some more white to this one. It's a lot more gray than I was expecting, but I'm going to add some more white to this. So I just cleaned off my brush, and I'm going to add a little more white and just keep blending those colors together. Add a little more white. And you can come down from the top too. And then come back up. Okay? So I want to be more white because Mrs. Claus has more white. There we go. Just keep blending those. There we go. And throw some more white on there. Layers upon layers upon layers to get the effect I'm looking for. So when you go over those grays, you're pulling in that black again. There we go. Okay. So, and then when you think you've reached a point, you're just going to let it dry and see what you think. So sometimes it looks a little differently when you're dry, or you need to let it dry. So sometimes I go over it again with a little bit of color, and then add some black into here, like that, and then just pull down the color and add some more white, and it just blends together like that. And if I don't like how it's mixing, clean it off, pull down some more. Don't need a lot of black. So, and since it's still wet, there's a lot more flexibility in adding. And if it's too blended and you want something a little cleaner with a little fresh of the white, clean off your brush and then add more to your, there you go. I'm going to add a little more white over here. This is a little too blended for me. I mean, a little too black for me. All right. So I'm going to add some iridescent over here. And there comes a point in time when you just have to stop playing with it and walk away and let it dry, and then you are good to go. So that's how I make a braid. Let me take it off there and show you what the braid looks like all finished. And since it's close enough to my Santa, I'm gonna probably keep it and glue it down as soon as it's dry. All right, thanks, bye.